That's right, it's hay season. Lucky for me, it's already been cut. I didn't have to do that. They had a couple issues that I didn't get to be a part of. Shucks. But I got it all cut. We'll see what we can't get baled and raked today. I'm gonna go ahead and rake with the world's largest rake tractor. There's a smaller tractor out here that I used last year to rake with, and he make tighter corners. Man, the hydraulics are slow moving this big old rake. They got a little bit too big of equipment for this farm. This tractor's too big, and the rake's too big. It actually makes the process take longer. If I had smaller equipment, like this first field we're gonna go to, I think it's like 12 acres. There's no need for this size of equipment, but it's what we got, it's what we're gonna use. Let's get the baling. Gotta go fuel this one up, and then we'll get hooked up to the rake. Forever when you're just gravity feeding on one of those. But we're filled up on the raking tractor. Let's go get hooked up to the rake and get started. Different camera angles, but I'm gonna get a few passes and then I'll jump in the baler and get those baled, and then we'll start going back and forth instead of doing circles. But everything's going good so far. With this rake, you grab, if you stay lined up, you grab 4 rows at a time. I'm not sure how big that cutter is. I think it's a 10-foot or a 9-foot cutter, so we're grabbing 4 rows at a time. It's a big old rake. Well, while you weren't paying attention, about 5.5 hours has gone by. I let a guy hooked up the baler. I didn't watch him hook the hitch up. Well, he technically didn't even hook the hitch up. And when I turned to go into the field, the PTO come apart and it jacked up all the splines. So I don't have a die grinder, I don't have a file set, so I had to go to town. Get that fixed. First thing this morning. Hold on, getting close to making a bed. So like I was saying, before I got going this morning, on the fuel line, right before it goes in the engine, there's these little rubber pieces, and 2 of them were dry rotted. So I went ahead and changed out 4 of the 6. Got this PTO fixed. Well, if you can't tell, I have changed clothes yet again because it's the next day. We got absolutely nowhere close to getting baled what I had planned on getting baled. We got the triangle, which is roughly 12 acres, maybe closer to 15, but there's still an entire bottom to get baled, and we didn't get it baled, and I work today and the next 2 days, so they're gonna have to get it done on their own. I had told them on my 7 off if they'd get it mowed, I'd get it baled. Well, they didn't get it mowed, and then I was trying to help yesterday and go ahead and bale, but to keep from rattling, it was one thing after another yesterday. Like I said in my video, the fuel line on the tractor was messed up. I got that fixed, and then a guy told me that the baler was hooked up ready to go, so I just hooked up and took off. Well, it wasn't hooked up correctly. PTO ended up coming apart, messed up the splines. I was hot, didn't have the tools to mess with it, so I just took it to town. The guy that works on tractors in town, let them mess with it. Well, they ended up messing with it for about 3 hours. And so by the time I got it unhooked, to them, picked up, back out there, put back on, I had wasted like 5.5 hours. And I wasn't gonna be able to get anywhere with that kind of time left. So I got the triangle baled. My father-in-law come out there and helped me. He raked, and then I taught him how to run the baler because he's gonna have to get the bottoms baled because, like I said, I worked the next 2 days. Forgot one of the fuel lines. As soon as I got started, there's 6 of those little rubber pieces. I changed out 4. I'll be dang if I didn't get that baler hooked up, and one of the 2 I didn't change started leaking, so I had to take it all back apart, change it out, get started again. And then when I was going, I had found a roll of twine out there, and they use this like biodegradable twine that if it's left out in the pasture, we try to pick it all up, but if it is left out in the pasture, it degrades and it'll just go to dirt in no time. And the baler actually cuts it a lot easier, so we always use it. But I had found a bundle of it, hooked it all up to just use it up, and apparently it was dry rotted. I'd run it, it'd break. I'd retie it, it'd break. And I did that about 5 times. Finally I cut it out, got new bundles of twine in it, all was well. Then I got my father-in-law in the tractor, was showing him how to, and I jumped down to move some stuff, and I could see he was stopped for a while. Went over there, and the tractor messes up every once in a while, and it won't cut that twine, and I believe that's what happened. And it had one of the belts all twisted where it had grabbed it, and had to kick that bell out. Got him going again. Shouldn't have done it, I know better, but I had him just run over some of that stuff we had just kicked out, and it never works. I don't know why I told him to try it, but if it's slightly rolled up, it'll clog those balers in a heartbeat. So kicked the gate open again, cleaned it all out, told him to go around, got him started again, and at this point I still hadn't realized it, but the twine still was not where it needed to be because it hadn't cut correctly on the one. So it got in a bind again. Had to open the gate, cut it out. Finally I saw this time, shoot, the twine's not right. Got it going. We got it finished right at dark, but I haven't seen what I got filmed, if it's worth even posting, but hopefully I can get something posted out of the deal. But it's next day, watering the heifers. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll have a better video before long.